Here we go. What's happening with your joint mobility? No matter how you're feeling, you still got to get up and motor around. So let's talk about joint mobility as we get warmed up. And yes, we're going to do strength work. We're going to do some basic strength moves for major muscles. A lot of times I go around and I do some of the other muscles, but we're going to do some straightforward functional moves with free weights. So get that in your head. And I might add, I think I'm just checking my positioning here. I think you can see me. Were you thinking about joint mobility? Man, some of the stuff I've seen, you're like, I can't do that. I got a chair here. I can hold on to it here, or I could back up into a corner if you have a corner. But we're going to start right here. I'm going to step forward and I'm going to step back. Okay, believe it or not, so this is the same motion as you would do if you were walking. Okay, I'm going to make sure that you can see my feet. Yeah, I think right there. Okay, so have my chair, yes. Move forward because we're going to start working compound moves. And somebody might say, well, why do I want to do a compound move? And I'm saying, well, that's the same thing as walking and scratching your head. That's a compound move. Okay. So step forward. Let your toe in the back go all the way to your toe. I'm not pushing on my toe. I'm just moving front to back. Then I step back. I'm not doing a tandem move, but when I step forward, you know what the crucial thing I want you to do for your back mobility is to say rib cage up. I know it. You've heard it here first. And I might add, somebody might say, well, it's hard to straighten up when I walk. It's just easier to just let myself cave and bend over and do this. And I would say, you get to choose your hard, because if you're persistent at leaning over, hunching over when you're walking, and it starts with the first step, see how I'm doing this? When I take that first step, I'm not ambulating, meaning I'm not moving out of my place. I'm putting pressure here, swinging the leg through, and when I go here, the rib cage comes up. You know what that does? That extends in a really good way my back, the whole vertebral column. At the same time, I'll start moving my arms. I'll bring my thumb to my shoulder, my thumb to my shoulder. And when I do that, I'm telling myself constantly to say rib cage up, shoulders down. Take a breath. So I'm constantly taking a breath through the nose. And when I swing the leg through, I'm doing what almost every healthcare provider is telling people to start improving their balance. Well, what's one of the single best ways? Do a single leg stance. Just like this. What are you looking for? Take a breath. Take a breath. See, I'm just going to work with my hands just as if I were walking. I'm just bringing my thumb right here. Now, I'm going to end up on this little warm up with my hand behind here. So I'm going to keep my chin tucked. I'm tapping my thumb right here to the shoulder. I'm doing this single leg stance for just a split second. See this? This is money. And in just a minute, we're going to do this standing on our little pillow. Now, I don't have my regular little, pad here. I left my free weights here. That's why I have my free weights. I'm just going to use a pillow. And it's a vinyl pillow, so I can put my foot on it. Okay, rib cage up, back to, and some of you might be saying, well, is she ever going to change legs? Yes, I am, but not yet. Because I'm starting to get a very gentle overload here, okay? Just by doing a step through and persisting at it. Let me go back to the statement of, well, it's just hard to stand up straight. And I would say to that, well, you get to choose your hard. I would rather choose a hard of trying to persistently cue myself to extend my rib cage and try to stay in neutral spine as best as I can, rather than walk in a constant slumping over, which causes a whole cascade of problems, not the least of which is falling, because it gets you out of balance. You gotta know that. Okay, so right here, I'm starting to feel a little warm because I've been consistently now for about 3 or 4 minutes overloading here, okay? And you go all the way to where the toe is flexed in the back. This readies you for everything that you're gonna move through, okay? It prepares your feet. I'm overloading through the gluteal quad. I'm swinging back and forth. It's taxing me with balance. Then I add a compound move, thumb to shoulder, thumb to shoulder. Then I say rib cage up. While I do this, it may be getting hard. That's good. Take a breath. And then go to neutral. So here I am in neutral. Now I'm going to start to swing the other leg. So instead of just walking around, which is fine, I'm doing a whole cascade of motion through my body from up here. Now, you could add a little easy thing. Once you get your swing going, see I'm swinging, and how far forward do you go? So that the foot back here is very flexed. I'm pushing gently on my back toes, and they're in a flexed position, okay? Then I'm gonna go back. Right there is a single leg stance. Push back here and go to the heel. As I come forward, I'm going to say rib cage up. So now this side is much more precarious for me because this is my hip replace side. This is my knee replace side. So whenever I do that one split second leg stance, one-legged stance, right here, right there, see? Through the process, that's the single-legged stance. Your whole body weight is on this side when you're doing this. Then you start your hands, okay? And you don't start your hands unless you can keep your rib cage up, okay? Take a big breath through your nose, rib cage up, and coming back and forth. See that? And you go all the way to where your toes are very flexed in the back. And then you take that split second of single leg standing. I'm telling you, you do this for 1 to 3 to 5 minutes. You could do this while you're listening to the news and screaming and yelling at the news. Okay, you can do it while you're watching something. But do it, because this is addressing all kinds of stuff. And I notice that whenever I'm in that single leg portion of this motion, I got to pay attention to my balance, okay? Because I'm on my hip that is replaced. By virtue of that, we get weaker in certain muscles. And we have to think about what we're doing to keep our balance. Now, here's the first thing that I notice that I do, that I know some of you are doing. Say rib cage up. You're scrunching your toes. Open those toes in your shoe. Open those toes. Okay? Yeah, I know. So your knee is soft when you're coming through, because it's just like you're swinging through to a walk. But we aren't walking today. Now I'm going to add something. Okay, so rib cage up. So if you're doing this pretty good, now I'm going to add a head turn. So your head, if any of you are ice skaters, you know very well that your head will dictate your motion in ice skating. So when you turn your head and you bring your chin over one side, over the other side, if you're not careful, you'll get off just by turning your head, because that starts our motion to turn. Well, when you start that motion and you're trying to go forward, you have to think really hard and pay attention to your balance. I know it. Take a breath, open those toes, big breath through the nose. All you gotta do to do the breathing where I'm trying to lead you to proper breathing and deeper breathing is just shut your mouth. You gotta breathe. You're gonna breathe through your nose. Take a breath, drop your shoulders. I can tell that this side for me is much more precarious on that single leg stance. Just lasts a split second. But it would be hard for me to stop right in mid swing because of the hip being replaced. Okay, take a big breath through your nose. Just a couple more here. Swing that head. I mean swing the head, I mean turn the head. Stay with me, just stay. See how I started over balance? I had to pull it back. Yeah, that's what you're trying to practice, so that when it comes about, this movement experience comes about in real life, you kind of know, you've trained your body how to get back on balance. That's why you do specific balancing exercises. Well, this was that, and it's using one of the foremost moves, which is a single leg stance, in this whole warm-up exercise that I'm persisting at doing, because a lot of people will shake out their arms, shake out their legs, kind of stretch their calf, and they think it's warmed up. Well, if you stay with it as long as I'm doing it right now, you'll have a different perspective. Yes, okay, neutral stance. So I'm right here, yes, yes, and yes. Now I'm going to talk about the joint mobility that we just warmed up. So let's walk in place like this while we're walking in place, because it's just a pumping action, okay? It's pumping action for our legs. You were just standing in place. You don't have to ambulate. What we're going to start with is the shoulders, okay? So take a big breath again. First thing I want you to do is go across like this, okay? That's the first way you get this started. So just walk in place, or take just one little step forward, one little step back. Just something that you can do without thinking too much about it. Keep your rib cage up, breathing. Hand here. And now what are we going to do? We're going to raise our elbow. And we're going to look through the little hole created by lifting our elbow. And then we're going to take the elbow down and down and back. See that? So you always start here. And this gives you an anchor. Then we lift the elbow. And we look through. Take a breath. See, I'm wanting you to continue to move. Then we're going to bring that elbow back here as far as we can and point it down. So I'm not lengthening my lever here. It's here. It's here. I release. I go way back here as far as I can. With the elbow, I'm drawing a circle. Down, and I start it again. Take a breath. Big breath. Keep your legs moving, because I want to keep the warm-up going. Here we go, right here. Now we're going to come up. Now we're going to go back as far as we can. Keep your chin tucked. Down, keep your shoulders down. Here we go, here we go. And then come across, come up, make the hole. Okay, I'll have to spell that for you someday. Okay, down, 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 and down. Okay, so it's across. Lift your elbow. That's how you start this. Okay, tight tummy. Tight tummy, drop your shoulders one more time. Here we go, across. Now lift, look under that hole. Here we go. all the way down and around. If you've got wonky shoulders, you got to start here to get better motion back. Now, instead of going forward and back for the other arm, I'm going to go step, tap, step, tap. Believe it or not, this is a very important motion for your hips, okay? For your balance. It's very important. Drop your shoulders, take a breath through the nose. See, I'm not going real wide. I'm just stepping and tapping. Stepping and tapping. And if you don't tap very hard, here again, I'm forcing you into a single leg what? Stance. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to take the other arm while I'm stepping side to side and tapping. So you get that going first. Got it? Rib cage up. Yes. Breath. Yes. I'm going to go across. I'm going to lift my elbow. I'm going to look through the hole. Then I'm going to bring the elbow back. Then I'm going to bring the elbow down. And I'm telling you, if you got a wonky shoulder, this is doable, but you got to be thinking about it. See that lift right there? For me, ooh, that is touchy because this is my wonky shoulder. Okay, everybody has a wonky something. Take a breath. Lift the elbow. See, I have my fingers here so I can assist the movement that is a little wonky. Then I go back and then I push down with the elbow and around. You go across, touch the shoulder, tap it. You're still doing side tapping, right here. Here's the circle or the hole. Okay, here we go. Elbow up. I just say it like that because it drives my teachers crazy. Okay, here. I used to do that. Drive my teachers crazy. Yeah, I got bored one time, me and my girlfriend in the 4th grade. Maybe it was the 2nd grade, something like that, 2nd grade. So we took our little paper scissors out and we just decided to cut off our eyelashes. Here we go, up here. I digress. Here we go. I just want to keep you moving here. See, this is very important. This is very good for my shoulder. So it's good for my shoulder, then it's got to be good for yours. See here, this right here, right there's a sticking point for me. But I can get it up there, bring it around, push the elbow down. Rib cage up, across, lift, boom, all the way down. Big breath, across, lift, side tap, side tap, side tap, down. You're doing this always with a neutral spine. What is that? That's just lift your rib cage. Just lift your rib cage. Your hip hinging side to side. Your knee is soft. And you're stepping side to side, keeping your toes pointing where? Forward. Yes. Take a breath. Here we go. It's starting to feel easier. Across, you lift, you bring that elbow back as far as you can, you point it down, and then you keep stepping. We're going to do it just a couple more times. Kathy goes nuts when I say a couple. You know why? Because a couple is really anywhere from 2 to 20. So she knows how many we've done. Take a breath. Here we go. Here we go. Down, 2 more. All right, I'll say 2 more. Here, lift. I'm still stepping. Make sure your toes are forward. Don't turn that toe out. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So before you go do heavy weight training, you gotta get warmed up. Most people just start walking and stuff like that, as I've said. Do something to help get your shoulders reset and then your hips, because those are 2 very important joints, very important. Okay, so I'm here, I'm gonna address the hip now. Those of you, I have lots of people with multiple hips replaced. So I'm here. I'm going to bring my knee up, and then I'm going to take it out like this. This is my hip replace side. I'm not putting it at any danger. I'm lifting my knee up. I'm holding here, not like a death grip, but just push down. Drop your shoulders, breath, bring that knee up, point it out, then just point your knee down, okay? A lot of times when they're showing stuff like this, they make this so complicated because they're moving in a wider range than we are. We're like, oh, forget that. I'm not gonna do that. That's impossible for me. You know what? This, even with hips replaced, multiple hips replaced, you can do this. If this is too hard for you, then just bring that leg up and go this way. And then point the knee down and then come back forward, okay? You can do it in any level. And what am I doing again for the third time in this warm-up session? Yeah, single leg stance. Yeah. See, I'm pointing my knee down, bringing it around. And I can choose to stay here at this level or here. It's your, if you're doing funny compensatory moves just to get your leg up here, if you're like really leaning and all that, well then don't bring it up that high. Take a breath, drop your shoulders, bring it here, and then point down with your knee and then around and come back up. That's fine. And you will have the same benefit on this leg, really. Yes, it's a little more difficult and you'll feel like, oh, it's getting tired quicker, but you'll have the same benefit of the other leg because we're doing single leg stances. Yeah, repeatedly. So open your toes, splay them, and do this little knee circling. See? Forget about the foot. Foot takes care of itself. See? Tight tummy, breath. Here. Draw that circle around. And just do it as many times as you feel you can. And the other leg now should be starting to really scream at you. Because this is the third big hit on a single leg stance motion that we're doing this morning. I'm gonna watch my time, I know. Some of you are going, when is she gonna get to the real hard stuff? We're gonna get to it. Okay, so here I am. I want to make sure everything's safe. So I'll just turn my chair here. So what am I gonna do? Push down, soften my knee a little, don't keep it locked. Rib cage up, take a big breath. You're gonna choose to go low, right? Medium, or high. And when I say high, I mean you're at least at 90 degrees right here, or above, or tighter than 90 degrees. Yeah, see? I'm gonna go up just a little bit. I'm gonna really work here. Here I go, out. Okay, now, dip that knee down, bring it around. Hip joint mobility at its best. This is doable, y'all. Here we go, see? Draw that circle with the knee. Take a breath. Keep the knee here soft, not bent. Do not be turning your toes out funny, and don't scrunch your toes. Okay, drop. I'm giving you 3 moves right here in our warm-up that will make your whole day go better. I don't care if you're gonna do heavy weights. I don't care if you're gonna go out in the garden, yard, you know, get under a car somewhere. You're gonna play with your grandkids, okay? This is ready in those joints. Not only the shoulder, not only the hip, but man, you're working at it. I know. Take a breath right here. Drop your shoulders. Here we go. Draw that circle. Draw that circle. Here we go. Draw that circle. Go down and come around. And you use this minimally right here. Okay? But it's there so that I can stay in good neutral spine while I do a hip joint mobility move that's worth something, okay? And I may do it 10 times slowly. I may do it 2 sets of 10, okay? Just, yeah, you know, listen to some music. Look at some really cool thing outside while you're doing this, okay? Or listen to something. I'm gonna do 2 more. Keep your knee soft. Here we go, up and around. I can tell you, this is my hip replace side, and I am feeling it now, because you don't feel it real readily on a hip that's been replaced. You know why? Because there's been a lot of nerves jumbled up during the hip replacement. I know. You didn't think about that, did you? Okay, so here we come back. Good. Now we're going to end with another very important hip thing, but we're going to get into our weights now. So here's my little pillow. See? Here's my little pillow right there. Here's my weights. I'm going to step wide. I'm going to take my hands out. I'm going to bring my hands right behind my head, and I'm going to push back while I keep my knees soft, and I'm really opening up the hip flexors, which affect your back, your hips. I know it. See, I'm just pressing my fingers into the back of my head. My knees are soft. I'm pushing my hips forward. Keep my chin down. Breathe. Breathe. Hang on. 5. Hang on. Push. 4, 3. Breathe. 2, 1. Come out of it. Come down. My feet are right in front of my kitchen table, my kitchen chair legs. See that? I'm not going in here with my knees. I'm staying in line with my ankle. See that? So let's do that. We're going to go down. See, I have my hands in a V. I'm going to go down here. My rib cage is up. My chin is tucked. Chin is tucked. Chin is tucked. I'm going to go down like I'm going to sit down. I'm going to feel where that pad is. I'm going to touch it and then come right back up. But what I want to make sure that you're doing with no weights, with nothing like that, is that you are shifting into your heels and then shifting back. So if you do nothing else but do 20, 10, 3 sets of 10 of this, and this, and you're shifting into the toes, into the midfoot, then into the heels, and you're keeping your back extended, you will be so far ahead of all your other peers at this point. You know why? Because in order for me to do this, I have to be strong enough here to handle my own body weight, right? So I'm going to come in, keep my chin tucked, use my hands here if I need to. If I don't need to, great. I'm going to come up. My toes are pretty much straight. If they're turned out a little bit, that's fine, but not a lot. Swing, shift. So now we're practicing one of the most important things to keeping our balance better or making it better. We're shifting, we're staying on target, we're making our muscles use, we're not using momentum, we're using our muscles. Breath, keep your chin tucked. Take a big breath again. Exhale as you come down and you're sitting on that little pad. So I'm only going to do this, maybe 8 times, just to see if you're knowing that you're able to handle the shifting and you are not putting your knees out or putting them in. Okay, that's the point. You got to stay in line right here. Stay in line. Take a breath. Practice that smoothly, sitting down and controlling your move up and down. That way, you don't become one of those active seniors or not active seniors that fall into their chair. No falling. Right here. Get low. Then go down. Okay? Take a big deep breath. Yes. Now, one last move before we start to pick up our weights. And I got my free weights right here. Let me say here, you do not have to pick up weights at all. If you go through this whole day today and don't pick up one weight, you will be so much further ahead. You know what I just now did? Yeah, I did more than just take my ankle and put it over my knee. You know what I did? I started prepping this part of my leg right here, because the minute you open back, keep your back extended, tighten in, take a breath, bring the leg up and over, then turn that knee out. Whoa, do you feel the stretch? You should, okay? But I don't round my back. One more time. Open back, take a breath, leg comes up, leg comes over, do not round your back. If you cannot do this move, then at least open back and just bring your ankle in front of your shin. But stay open and just do that. See, that's an acceptable modification to this move. What is not an acceptable modification is rounding your back and doing this. That's not acceptable, okay? You're not gonna do any training. You're gonna break down. So open back, say rib cage up, drop your shoulders, breath. Bring that ankle here, you can grab it. Bring it over here like this and push down gently, gently, gently. Woo, you should be feeling a stretch in that hip. I know it. This is so good and you feel so much better afterwards. Why? Because you just released a lot of tension in a very tight area right through here, okay? Push gently. This is my replaced hip. I'm not hurting it. I'm just pushing gently, but I feel it. And then come down. Yay, okay? And you can do all this with no weight. So we're gonna pick up our weights. You don't have to, because if I go from here to standing, you're doing your own body weight. That's okay, just do it properly, okay? Here we go. I'm gonna keel it down. I've already done a lot of warming up. So instead of picking up the most lightest for me, which I usually work at 6 pounds, you know what light is for you. I'm gonna go to 9, okay? So I'm gonna pick up my 9-pound weight in my free weights. Many of you have these, you got them from me. I bought out a guy that was running this company way back in the 90s. Was I over there at 80s? Yeah, 90s. Anyway, they got sold to a foreign entity, which I won't say, but they started getting made much cheaper. Well, these ones are the real ones, okay? So I'm gonna do one of my first moves with 9 and 9. So what does that translate to for my spine? I don't have to tell you. You know what 9 and 9 is? So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna tap. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna go down. Then I'm gonna pull back. See that? Stay with me on this one. I'm gonna nuance this one. That means I'm gonna find little tiny avenues that are different. Because what I'm asking my back to do is to get stronger and to pull back, okay? I have the weight at the end of my arms. I'm coming down, and now I'm gonna press into the heels, and I'm going to say rib cage up, and I'm gonna pull back. My back is not rounded. I'm gonna go down as deep as I can. I'm gonna keep my chin tucked. I'm gonna pull back. Listen, if you're receiving treatment for any kind of cancer that you're dealing with, there's a lot of days you just don't feel like doing much. Listen, if you even do this move with no weight, you're doing a big deal. You go and put weight on it, and it's an even bigger deal. But don't think you have to be even handling weight right now. Okay, one more, because I'm focusing on pulling with my back extensors. Yes. Now I'm going to come here and tap. And I'm going to come right to here. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to stay in. and I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna rotate back. So now I'm not only asking my biceps, my arm muscles to pull this weight, take a breath, but I'm staying in control of my move, and it needs to be, you know, if you really want to feel like you're doing something, it needs to be a little beyond light, okay? So here's the deal. If I were standing in the room with you right now, right this moment, I would be making darn sure that you kept your back at this point very extended and then pull. See that? Now stay open, stay back, stay with me, take a breath, bring just the arms down, and now pull. Bring just the arms down, take a breath. Exhale. Yes. Just the arms, try to stay back. Try to stay open, try to stay back. Yeah, because you're making your core work. We're seated, keep your shoulders down, pushing into the heels if you need to. Stay back, stay back, stay back. You'll come forward a little, but try to stay open, try to stay open. Here we go, just two more. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. One more. Keep your back extended. And now open those arms right to here. I know it. Take a big breath, exhale, and take those weights right above the ear. We've done this many times. A lot of people avoid when they have wonky shoulders. And if you're working with a therapist, you got to follow their direction because they know what your issues are. But generally, if you focus on functional moves, which bringing your hand up, yeah, even up above your head is a functional move. You got to be able to do it to kind of make it through your day. All right. To get yourself dressed, take a breath, extension in the back, big breath, exhale, breathe, lift, exhale. So you're pushing, stay with me, you're pushing, take a breath, push, take a breath, push, take a breath, bring it back in. Yeah, got your shoulders going right through here, but I didn't take it way up, okay? We'll lift our hands above our head, but I didn't want to do it with any weight that's appreciable weight. And so 9 pounds for me is appreciable, okay? So now we're gonna go to the back of the arms. We're still seated. And if you've got one arm incapacitated, then you can do it with the other arm. And you can use no weight, and you'll still be further ahead of the game. So here I come, I'm gonna get as parallel as I can to the floor. So that's your goal. In other words, if you just do this next move and you're only here, yeah, you'll benefit, but I want you to get down. See that? So my back is almost parallel to the floor now, seated in the chair. All right, so I'm gonna come right in here, keep my elbows in, and I'm just gonna push those weights back. And I'm gonna rotate my shoulders into my spine. And I'm gonna come out, open them back, drop them, pull, and push those weights back. Bring it back in, drop your shoulders, take a breath, push it back, rotate those shoulder blades into your spine. Take a breath, push it back, come back in, push it back. Yes, come back in, push it back, come back in, push it back, come back in, push it back. Now hang out back there and just do little tiny, little dinky pushes. See, just barely bend those elbows. Just barely bend the elbows. Push it back, push it back, push it back, push it back, and bring it back up. Yes, I know. Okay, I'm gonna do one final move, sit seated right now. And for some of you, may not want to move the weights to your shoulders. You may not want to do that. Remember, we went down like this and we made our back pull us back. Remember that? Okay. When you change these weights to here, And all you're doing is hanging on to them there. When you go forward, it's a whole different ball game. So you have to be very diligent to keep your shoulders down, your back very extended. Then do a little dip forward. Then nest your back to pull your back. Okay? My feet are forward. Legs are open. Here we go. Keep your chin tucked. Go as far down as you can. Now really extend that back. And when I say go as far down as you can, I'm meaning with your back very extended. Because what I'm trying to get you to do, drop your shoulders, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Yeah. I'm trying to get you stronger in all those back extensor muscles by loading you with some weight, okay? Sure, if you can do this standing up, go ahead and do it. But I'm showing you how to get great benefit by being seated in a chair while you do this. See that? Okay, I'm gonna do two more, just two more. Stay with me, shoulders are down. Pull back. So these are very functional weight training type moves. I'm just putting my spin on it. So that's two, so bring it down. So that for people in our situation with multiple joints replaced, lots of spine issues, scoliosis, injuries, recovering from cancer, that type of thing, you gotta do real strength work. That's what I'm trying to get you to do, and I'm showing you a different pathway. Okay, so here I am. Now I'm gonna put it on my lower legs. Okay, are you ready? So I got 9 pounds. So I'm gonna keep them down first, push into my heels, and come up. Got that? Then I'm gonna go back down like I'm gonna sit down, but I'm not. So I'm gonna go right into here, and I'm gonna act like I'm gonna sit down, but I'm not. See that? Now I am gonna take my pillow out at this time, okay? Because I'm gonna go a little lower than the 2 inches that the pillow is. So I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna barely touch the back of my legs, barely touch it on the chair, barely touch it on the chair. So I'm doing a little extension push-ups with my butt going into the chair. Breath, go down. Breath, go down. Breath, and stand up. Yes. Everything I did beforehand was to get you ready for that push. Hard to believe, isn't it? Take a big breath. Drop your shoulders. Drop your chin in. We're gonna do it 2 more times. I really want you to burn those legs up. I got 9 pound, 9 pound, okay? I'm having them right here at the side. I'm pushing my butt back. So when you see me go toward my chair, I do not have a rounded back, okay? So I'm gonna push back, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna go as far as to touch the backs of my legs on the end of the chair. And then I'm gonna go to the chair and back up. So I'm going into the heel and back up. Into the heel and back up. Stay low. Into the heel, back up. Just touch the backs of the legs to your chair. Touch, breath, touch, breath. Come up. Yeah. I hope you're following me. One more. We're gonna hit them. Do a bent knee. Do a bent knee. Just give it a little recovery. You gotta do that. But when you're down there, putting the backs of your legs on your chair, and you're just coming up a little, so you're really shifting. You're not really lifting your butt. You're shifting. I go from my heel to my toe. See? Okay, ready? Here we go. Big breath. Come down. Go all the way down. Touch the back of the chair. See, go to the heel, then come forward. So see, I'm not lifting. I'm holding pattern. I'm going to my heel, going forward to my foot. I'm not lifting. Breath. I'm holding down here. I'm pushing those leg muscles. Breath. Push. 3 more, 3 more. Here we go. One more, 2 more. Okay. Now one more. Stay with me. Now come up. Yes. Woo. I know it. Okay. I'm going to put these down. My back extended. I'm going to be coming up in weights here in just a second. Okay, shake out your hands. Shake out your hands. Do a little side, tap step, side, tap step. Shake out those hands. Yeah. Bring the elbows right here. Then bring them right to here. Okay? Bring them up. Bring them down. Just put your hands here. Come way up while you side step. It's a little recovery move. Take a breath. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Big breath and a big breath. So that should have hit you right here. You want to hit these muscles just like you felt at least twice in a week. You know, if you want to do it 3 times a week, great. But you gotta feel that, okay? All right, now then, I'm gonna grab my weights. I'm gonna do another extremely functional, multi-muscle usage move. So what am I gonna do? I've done it many times with you guys, and I've highlighted the fact that you always wanna be able to do this move. You wanna be able to step back and bend the knee down. That's a step back lunge. Okay, not a full lunge. It'd be very difficult for me to go into a full lunge with my joints issues unless I really was hanging on to something. So do both legs, step back, see? Bend that knee, come down as far as you can, and then this leg pushes you up. So we're gonna do that again on the other leg. So here I am. I'm gonna step back. Okay, get on balance. So you have your chair. I want to emphasize that I have my chair if I need it. I don't think I need it because I'm going to bend my knees, stay rib cage up, and I might hip hinge and come a little far forward because that benefits my back, but I don't cave. See, I can come down and come back up. Put your heel down. So make sure that you can do this on both sides. You step back, you bend the knee to come down, you might hinge forward a little, but right here is where you push up. That push up is crucial. Many people try to rely on the back leg to push you up. It's that front leg that's got to push you up. Okay? Here we go. This is very important. It's one of our last big moves today. So I put my weights at 12 and 12, just so you know. Let me tell you something. If you don't do any weights and you just do the move correctly, you're going to be way ahead of the game, okay? So if you don't feel like weights, that's fine. But here my weights are. So I got 12 and 12. And I'm going to step back. Right there. I'm going to stay on balance. I'm going to bend that knee. I'm going to come down as far as I can. Then I'm going to push up with that front leg. See here? Push up with that front leg. Don't cave on me. Just do a hip hinge. Push up. Keep your chin tucked. Drop your shoulders. Big breath. Push up. Take a big breath. Here we go. Exhale. Yeah, take a breath. Here we go. Go up. Really push into that whole foot in the front. Push. Okay, stay with me. Take a breath. Push. Okay, we're just going to do 3 more. Are you ready? Push. Yes. 2 more. Don't round your back. Drop your shoulders. Push. Yeah. I'm going to step up. Get ready to do the other one. And step back. Drop your shoulders. I'm going to bend the knee in the back. Bend the knee. I'm going to come down as far as I can. I'm not gonna round my back. Then I'm gonna push up. So the back knee on me now is my knee replacement. Now this is my hip replacement. So I've got to make my hip work in a safe way, but I gotta keep those muscles strong. Here we go. Pull. Keep your shoulders down. Push up. So I don't go near as far on this leg. And that's okay. Push up. Take a breath. Drop your shoulders. Here we go. Push up. Really dig in to those muscles. Push up. Drop your shoulders. Big breath. Ah. Just a couple more, couple more. Here we go, here we go. Stay with me, push through that front leg. Push through that front leg, just two more, here we go. Ah. One more. Ah. And bring it back in. See what I did? Put my weights down, turn it up to 18. Because I don't want anybody just grabbing it, especially my grandkids. Okay, I break a toe. Okay, take a breath. Over here, push your back forward. See what I'm doing? I mean, your hips forward. See what I'm doing? So I'm going to come back. What am I going to do? I'm going to step across here. I'm going to push the hips forward as I drop my shoulders. This leg is straight. Whoa, is it opening my hip right here? Yeah, your back. Drop your shoulders. Yeah. Bring it back. Just do it once or twice. So you're right here. Swing your arms. Take a big deep breath. Open. Don't slap. Just bring your arms here. Drop your shoulders. Drop your chin. Round through the shoulders, upper back. Then push down. Okay? Then step across. See? Push your hips forward. Yeah, my legs are very straight in the back. The front, a little tiny bend. And just push, 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 push your hips. Push your hips forward, push your hips forward, push your hips forward. My chin is tucked, I'm breathing through my nose. I'm gonna hang out there for a little bit, then I bring it back. And I am telling you, from that very thorough work of those 3 big moves to help your joints and your balance into our strength work, you should feel so much better and be able to actually move. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Trust me, it hurts me more than you. I hope you're laughing. Stop.